Hey YouTube, let's get this out of the way. I have decided to fully main Bridget. So this took me a while to decide. I've been going to tournaments, I've been playing, I've been grinding out multiple characters, and I've been feeling kind of lost in season 2, right? You guys have seen Eno content on the channel, you guys have seen Baiken content on the channel, you guys have seen Bridget. But I came to a realization, I want to play Bridget, and I want to kind of talk about why. All right, so the first thing we need to talk about is why no longer Eno, right? I played Eno straight through season 1. I had no doubts. You know, I played a little Baiken on the side, but you know, I was like Eno 100% fraternity run, right? And the thing is, like, in my opinion, Eno got buffed, slightly buffed, right? She got some really good stuff. Like this HCL is so good. Like some matchups that I really hate playing with Eno, such as Faust, I think are a lot more manageable because you could just snipe out Faust anytime with this HCL. Really, really good. The note's really good too. So you think I'd stick with her, but there's a couple reasons. And the most obvious reason, the feeling that you could run into a happy chaos at any moment and just basically lose. It's a bad feeling. It's a really bad feeling. I think Eno's matchup spread overall is pretty good, but this has to be like one of the worst matchups I've ever played in fighting games. Thinking about like flying to Evo or flying to see Otaku and just having bad RNG and you happen to run against a happy chaos player and it's like, it feels like there's almost nothing you can do. I really, really don't like that feeling. And I think if happy chaos didn't exist, I'd probably still be playing Eno. I super dislike this match. And honestly, like I waited to Evo to make that decision, right? The exact moment I decided I don't want to play Eno this patch was this exhibition between Daru and Lustful. You know, Daru, I prayed to Daru every day when I played Eno.
How do I?
Oh, I was always inspired by, you know, Daru Eno's play. I stole a lot of tech. And to see Daru lose like this, I think the final score is like 10-3. If the best Eno in the world, you know, this guy has played like 5 times the amount I had with Eno. Like, if he can't do it, I don't think I can. And I know Daru got top 8 at Evo, and it's because, you know, Daru didn't have a happy chaos in the path. Daru is a super godlike player. I think every other match was winnable, and Daru played out of his freaking mind, by the way, in some of those matches. But this character exists, you know, if Daru had bad RNG and happened to play against Lustful or Umi Show in their path, like, what are you gonna do? It feels like very disempowering, right? The other thing is, yeah, the H stroke change I wasn't a big fan of. The way I play this character, I really like conditioning people to let me get away with shit, right? I think that's one of my greatest strengths as a player is being able to sneak this H stroke in. And like even the best players in the world that I've played, I can land that H stroke on block and then get pressure off of it because I force them to look after a bunch of different things, or I start to condition them with S stroke and then they don't react on time. And then this patch, like, okay, if I condition them, it's their turn. Not a big fan. Again, I think overall Eno's quite good. Probably a little underrated because this buff and this buff and this buff are really significant, but it's not kind of like the way I want to play the character. So that brings us to Baiken. And everyone's saying Baiken top 5, Baiken top 5. Diaphone, why are you not playing Baiken? First of all, I don't think Baiken's top 5. I think people are overrating this character. I think it's all the Zato Illuminati trying to like hide the fact that their character is really strong and like shine a light on Baiken. Though I do think Baiken's really good. And I originally picked up Baiken as a counter pick to Happy Chaos. And it turns out I don't think Baiken does that well against Happy Chaos. You know, at first I was like, oh, you could just do the gun super, but you know, Happy Chaos has a lot of counterplay to that. The neutral feels really rough because you basically have Far Slash, right? He outranges that, and if you do like a 2S, his 2S beats your 2S, which I think is like kind of bullshit. It still feels like a hard matchup, right? A couple other things I don't like about Baiken are the fact that like she feels somewhat inconsistent. Like she has like all this really cool mix up and like she has like a way higher skill ceiling than people think. So what do I mean? Like, okay, so let's talk about some of her mix. Like her mix up I think is really, really good. So the fact that you can mix up between the same side and a cross up on top of like all the other mix she has, I think is the coolest thing. I think that's like the potential of the character is making sure you get that knockdown mix, but it's so inconsistent. And like depending on like the number of hits you get, like if you do this and you do the same setup and you whiff and then you just cry, and her best setups are like manually timed, and it feels like I'd have to practice so much. It feels like I'm manually forcing a lot of things, and for a character that's in tournament, like you can do the basic stuff, right? You know, the basic tatami into suit into insta overhead, and that stuff's really strong, right? But the thing is, like, the stuff that takes her to the next level, I think is either really hard or it feels really risky. Like, I'll try to do like a Yuzansen against Nago and they block it, and then I just like All right, well, I lost the game. Sorry for trying to overhead you. I can actually pinpoint the exact moment I decide I am not going to main Baiken. So this is at ECT, a tournament I just went to recently. And I was right before my match, I was watching Lord Knight and One Tree Snorlax play. And he goes to a super cool setup that you do the FD cancel and you get the Yuzansen, and it looks so sick. And then you drop the combo. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, it technically can combo, and then you just die off of it, right? Things like that are like really frustrating. I'm like, damn, I have to work so hard, and then I drop it, and then Naga just like rushes me down, right? So I think to summarize, like, I don't like that. I don't like the technical aspect. I don't like sometimes like she feels really committal. Like I have to like run in to get this 5S of characters that have really long buttons, or have to like, you know, do things that are certainly like unsafe. That's most of it, but I do think she's really, really strong. Another reason I'm starting to not want to play this character is like, you know, everyone's playing her, you know, so it's kind of like I like to be a special snowflake. You know, you got LK on her, Shine on her, Flash Metroid on her, Zentai, a few other really strong players are all picking up Baiken, right? And on top of all the other like really good Baikens like Memo and whatnot, she's also like one of the most popular characters online. So it's kind of hard to like go online, like not run into a Baiken, right? So I like playing characters that are a little less played, and Baiken doesn't fit that. So then you might be asking, why Bridget, right? Why don't I just play Zato or Happy Chaos or Gold Lewis or all these characters I complain about? I have a like lean towards characters I think are good and underrated. And I think Bridget kind of fits that bill. I think she's quite good. I think she's quite underexplored. Every single day I come up with new tech. I'm finding like new ways to get a wall splat mix up, for example, right? Stuff like that is like really exciting, really invigorating, and it makes this character like really, really fun to play. I mean, just in general, any new characters like that, but I believe in the potential of Bridget, right? The second thing is everything just works. Like all of her combos are just, they seem really consistent. I don't have to worry about whether they're lightweight, medium weight, heavyweight. I just do the same combo against everyone. Unlike Baiken, all the mixes like super consistent. I can focus on playing the other character instead of like trying to memorize, okay, against Nago, I have to do like this combination of a combo against him. And then I drop it and then I die, right? Like I don't like that kind of stuff in any fighting game. With Bridget, I don't feel like I have to do that. The other thing is I don't feel like she loses a matchup badly, right? She doesn't have like the Happy Chaos syndrome. Like even Baiken, I feel like loses the Happy Chaos badly, right? I feel like Baiken loses to Nago really badly. And while I think they're winnable, it's not a good feeling going into that, right? Just to give you a perspective, this is kind of how I feel about the matchups of Bridget, right? The fact that she has no one she super loses to, like Nago feels super winnable. Happy Chaos feels super winnable. And even some of these matchups like Axel, Chip, Zato, I think could actually be even. And even these loses, like they aren't that bad. I feel like I can actually do pretty well against a Happy Chaos, which is saying something because I think the character's busted. The fact that I feel like I'm not losing at the character select screen versus anyone, it's honestly, it's a really good feeling, even though she might not be as high in the tier list as Baiken, right? Because I think she just has a more even matchup spread. She's probably like mid-tierish, right? But she feels really good. She's new. She's tons of fun. And I'm gonna stick with her, at least until a, you know, new DLC. Like if a busted DLC character comes out, I'm gonna play them. Or, you know, if Eno gets super buffed and Bridget gets nerfed, you know, obviously I'll change, right? But until then, Bridget Tournament. Maybe Baiken for a counter pick. I mean, I have a Baiken, but like, I don't know who I'd counter pick against. Maybe Zato? But I feel like Bridget Zato is not even that bad. I guess Chip would probably be like the one on paper would be like one matchup I could probably make Baiken work a lot better than Bridget. But yeah, so Bridget at CEO Otaku, Bridget probably the next turn after that, and we'll see how it goes. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think, you know, Bridget's a good choice? Do you actually think Baiken's top 5? I'm stupid for not picking her. Let me know. And if you like this kind of content or want to support me in, you know, getting these Bridget dubs, consider like, sharing, and subscribing on the video. Really appreciate all your support. And I'll catch you all next time. Have a good day.